Hello, welcome to Pro Mixing and Mastering, and today I'm gonna show you how to mix and master a gospel song in Cubase 5. I'm gonna show you the plugins that I used. Just make sure that before you start mixing and mastering, make sure that your instrumental is first balanced. Make sure you work on the instrumental, because if the instrumental is not balanced, the mix is not going to sound better no matter how you try to master. So this is how the song sounds like when mixed and mastered in Cubase 5. Alright, I know you're wondering what plugins I used during the mixing and mastering of this worship song done by Wisdom. I'm gonna show you my secret ingredients and everything that I used. So the first thing that I did was, let me do this, and I loaded in the finished and mastered one because I don't want my plugins to overload Cubase 5. So what I did was, let me do this. So I'm gonna mute this and this and this and this, so that I can play the chorus part without the plugins. So this is what I did. I balanced the chorus, the sopranos, tenor and female vocals and everything, the main vocal. So after I finished balancing, I loaded in the Aravox. This is in the group channel for the chorus, and actually the same vocals, the same plugins that I use here are the same plugins that I used in group 1 for the main vocal in the verse 1 and verse 2 and verse 3. So the first plugin that I used is the Aravox. This is to bring out the presence and also to compress it a little bit. The work of a compressor is to bring those vocals which are low a little bit higher, and bring down those vocals which are too much, which are higher, and bring out those vocals, bring up the vocals which are lower, and then bring down those which are a little bit higher, so that the voice can be even. Actually, basically it's just to level it up a little bit so that the vocals don't jump up and down. In order to control the vocals, I added in an Aravox. Basically the Aravox does is it warms up the vocals, and just it has this analog type of compression, and this is how it sounds like with Aravox compressor engaged in. Without, with it engaged. Alright, secondly, I engaged in the our EQ. The reason why you have to EQ your vocals is because there are some bad frequencies which are not supposed to be in your mix, in your mix, especially the vocals. So I cut the lows. It was like this, so I just had to cut it to about frequency to about 90. Then I cut this area, this area. Then I also cut out some bad frequencies from this area, and also this area about 2K I cut. Then the highs I did nothing, so I don't like raising the highs. So that's basically what I did with EQ. Each software, recording software, has EQ, has an EQ. So I know that if you're using Cubase 5, there is a stock EQ inside there. So this one is from Waves. And next, third, I used my third plugin is our compressor. I used our compressor to compress the vocal a little bit, and also just to mold the frequencies and just put them together and just make sure the vocals sound the same. So my ratio is on 3.10 and also threshold on 20.0, and their attack and release is on 152, attack is on 16.0. the gain, which is basically raising the volume to where the volume is supposed to be, is on 8.8 dB. And this is how it sounds like with first with the EQ on. Without the EQ, huge difference with the EQ engaged. With our compressor, I already explained what this our compressor is doing. So with it engaged, vocals raised, and they sound fuller and they sound also warmed. Next, I added in another plugin from Waves, which is a Super Tape 6 stereo. And basically what this one does is to add an exciter to the vocals. Just listen to it engaged in. This is without. With the Super Tape engaged. There is an excitement to the vocals, and that's what the Super Tape does from Waves. Then next, I add in the SSL channel stereo. This is to warm the vocal again, to make sure that the vocal is warmed, and just to bring up anything that is not there, and it has an analog feeling to it. So this is how it sounds like with the SSL channel stereo. My threshold is on 0, and I didn't do I just threw it in because it just does something. The moment you just throw in the SSL, there is just that warmth it adds to the vocals. And this is how it sounds like with SSL channel stereo engaged. So that is what it does. I hope you're able to tell the difference. Then next, I added in the RDS. I just went to the presets, which is the male DS narrow to about 4K. And what basically the DS does is it helps the vocal not to be too harsh. So the S's, the S, and the T's are controlled using the DSR. So I added in this RDSR from Waves, and I picked this preset of about around 4K, and this is how it sounds like with the DSI engaged. Have you heard the S's? The S's are warmed up and they sound really, really sweet in the mix. That's the work of the RDS. So the next I added in the Autotune 8.1. The reason why I added in the Autotune 8.1 is simply because I wanted the vocal to be smoothened a little bit. So my scale is on is minor and my key is A, and then my retune speed is 30, my correction is 100, and humanize is on 60. The vibrato is on negative 3.6. Make sure that your retune speed is not too much. If you put it too much, then your vocals will sound robotic. You want your vocals to sound natural. So with mine, I'd put it on 30, but 31 is okay. And this is how it sounds like with Autotune 8.0 engaged. So the Autotune smoothens the vocals, and then finally what I added in the GW voice centric from Waves. It comes with Doubler and reverb and also delay, so I turned off the delay. I left the Doubler and just to give it that feel in speakers, and also the reverb. Then the intensity, I just left it the way it is on 50%, and this is how it sounds like with actually I have to turn off the I'll come back and explain this, the FX, and this is how it sounds like with centric engaged. Sounds beautiful. Now I turned this off, and in case you want to know how to how I made the FX channels and the delay and the reverb, just message me in the comments section below, and I will be able to make a video or show you how I did this. So the FX channel, I added the reverb 32, and these are my settings. The room size pre-delay is on 00, room size is on 79%, and then the reverb time is 2.05 seconds, and the low, the high, in case you want to add the high and the low. Then the weight, I really took it down a little bit, gave it more delay due to the type of song. And then I added in an REQ just to remove the lows from the reverb. The next in the inserts of the FX channel, I added in a double delay. This is a stock plugin from Cubase 5, a double delay, so you can find it in Cubase 5. And these are my settings. Mix is on 50%. Feedback, I brought it down a little bit to 20%. Panning 100%, and then this side also left and right. This is left and this is right. And this is how the vocals sound like with effects, delay and reverb and delay turned on. Group number 3 is for the bass. Forget about that one. We'll talk about it later one day. Now, once I'm done with that, I go to mastering. So during mastering, this is what I do. I come to Open Mixer. So you go to Open Mixer, then you go to edit output channel settings. That's why you put in your plugins for mastering. Actually, I do everything in Cubase 5. So during mastering, the first plugin that I put in is the Fab Filter Pro L2, which is a limiter. I put in a limiter because I don't want my sound to clip. It's actually clipping here because it is an output stereo in for the microphone. So this is just showing the output sound. So the original one is this one here. So because I don't want this one to clip, I in my plugins, the first plugin that I put is the Fab Filter Pro L, and I raised the volume a little bit to positive 5.5 dB. This is how they sound like with the Fab Filter Pro L2 during mastering. Beautiful. As you can see, it's not even clipping here. It's not clipping. Next, I load in the Isotope Ozone 7. I love this this plugin. It has everything. So I basically what I do, I just go to the presets, and then I pick this one, which is increase presence. So once I pick it up, this is how it shows. The equalizer shows like this. I just drop it down by double clicking, and then I go to the maximizer. It has the maximizer. Cubase 2 has maximizer, but I prefer this one, maximizer, and I give it a little bit of negative 5.0 of volume, and basically this is what I do on the rest of Exciter, Imager, and Dynamics and Equalizer. I leave them on default, and this is how it sounds like with the Isotope engaged. It's not clipping because of the Fab Filter Pro limiter. Then lastly, I load in the IM pusher. This is a beast. What basically what this one does is it has a stereo imager. Make sure the sound is heard in speakers, more like surround speakers, and it also has the pusher, which is you can increase the volume here, and also it has low. It has the body in case you lost the body during mixing the instrumental and vocals. You can raise the body a little bit. Like me, I put it on 7.0. Then the low, I had to put it on 7.0 as well. Then the volume, I raised it to about negative 9.2, and then my stereo imager. What stereo imager does is like it acts like a stereo enhancer, or it expands the sound. It just pushes the sound into the left and right speakers, and also brings out the reverb. The reverb is heard more when you engage the stereo imager, especially this and this, the Magic and the stereo imager. It just brings out that sound which was not there. The vocals just go in the background, the reverb gets heard, the delay gets heard, every little thing gets heard once you engage this plugin in. And this is how it sounds like with the IM pusher engaged. Without with it engaged. The reverb is heard, the delay is heard, the vocals are heard. Beautiful. So these are my 3 plugins that I use during mastering. And finally, once that is done, I have to switch all these again so that I don't get an overload. And once that is done, this is how the song sounds like when it is mixed and mastered. I hope this tutorial has helped you in some way. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel and also like the video if you learned something. See you in the next video.